Hello there, and welcome to the first installment of Rainbow Loom Essentials. This is a new channel in 2023 surrounded around anything and everything Rainbow Loom. Hopefully this can be an educational experience if you're new to Rainbow Loom or if you're getting into advanced Rainbow Loom. Hopefully this channel will be able to cover everything, any and all difficulty levels. So here are a couple of the products that I've made using Rainbow Loom, starting off with the Starburst bracelet. This is actually a 9 pattern or 9 thing Starburst bracelet. I made this on the monster tail loom because on a regular loom you can only have 6 of these unless you have 2 looms and double them up with a fishtail loop. I have an example of a hexafish, which was also made on the monster tail loom. The monster tail loom is very good for constructed bracelets like these. I have an example of a loomigurumi crochet that essentially it's a half circle right now. I haven't finished this one yet. And lastly, I have a literal fucking glove made out of about 2,000 bands and 20 hours of my life wasted. So there's always that. This is going to be the first episode, or the first video posted. And essentially what this is going to be is A, you're new to Rainbow Loom, and B, you just got your first kit. And you're wondering, where do I go from here? So I would like to go over, firstly, some of the kits that Rainbow Loom offers and what you should generally be looking out for when starting with Rainbow Loom. There are a couple of kits online on their website that they market that aren't necessarily the best for starting out. One of these includes the original kit, which for everybody seems like a great place to start out. The reason I don't like this kit is because it does come with the original loom. That's a score. It comes with this packet of bands, and they're essentially all mixed colors. I don't really like that. Of course, you can make anything you want with a wide variety of colors, but it just seems like an extra job having to sort out those colors if you're wanting to do a pattern bracelet. So I wouldn't necessarily go with that one. However, I found that one of their cheaper sets does everything for you. The organization comes with the original loom, comes with a couple instructions, and comes with, most importantly, a metal crochet hook. Now, of course, you can use a plastic crochet hook, but for tighter designs that, are a lot more small and, they have tight bands, you're gonna want a metal crochet hook because a plastic hook will snap on you. So this kit provides the metal crochet hook, the original loom, instructions, and on top of that comes with a variety of bands, beads, and letters all sorted for you. They also have a couple of jelly bands. They have the teal and the gold. This is perfect for starting out with Rainbow Loom. This kit also comes with bags that you can throw your bracelets into and give them away or do whatever you want with them, essentially. So I would vote for this kit being your starter kit, especially with the metal crochet hook. That is the deal right there. Moving this aside, there are a couple of other kits that you can buy. These ones are a little more expensive, but these 2 kits are actually a Michaels exclusive. I don't think you can buy these online. I might be wrong, but this is also a Michaels exclusive. There are a couple of reasons why I don't necessarily like this kit, and there are a couple of reasons why I really like this kit. So going over the reasons why I don't like this kit. Number 1, This is just a crappy loom. It works, it does the job, but you can't customize it. You cannot customize the rows, and you could not add an additional loom onto here if you needed to. It's just very flimsy, and you just do not want this. It also comes with these crochet hooks. This is what I was talking about, plastic crochet hooks. And on top of that, they're extremely tiny. And to show you just how tiny they are, comparing them with the original crochet hook from the kit that I recommend, yeah, no. And it's plastic. Of course, you can still loom with these. These are perfect to start out as well. There are better options for the loom and the crochet hooks. There are definitely better options. However, the things I like about this kit are the bigger perimeters for bands, and you get a wide variety of bands. You also get more beads, letters. This is an overall okay kit. I would not recommend this to begin with. I would definitely recommend the cheaper option that comes with the metal crochet hook, the actual loom. I would definitely recommend this kit to start out with. Knowing all this information now, you have your kit, you have your loom, and you have your crochet hook. We're going to be going over 2 patterns today that'll really start your creativity. That sounded weird. It's going to start, your path. I'm going to start with the single chain bracelet, which, if you bought this kit, already has the instructions for it in this pamphlet. However, I'm not going to use my loom. I'm going to use the metal crochet hook and the hook alone. And the reason I'm going to be doing this is because there are a lot of patterns out there in the realm of somewhat advanced rainbow loom, such as Loomigurumi, for example, that really only require you to have a crochet hook. You don't necessarily need a loom. You can use a loom, you don't necessarily need them. And I found that by just using a crochet hook, it makes things a lot more simple and a lot more understandable, for me at least. So we're going to be starting with just the crochet hook and a rubber band. So moving into this, most bracelets, starting off, will have what's known as a cap band. And what that is it's taking a band, putting it on your hook, twisting it, and then putting it back on the hook. So you should have something similar to this, right? It's just a crossed over band. This prevents the beginning of the bracelet from falling apart, right? The bands will pass through these 2 loops and, they won't fall apart because it's being held on by the cap band. So we're gonna start with the hook facing up like this, and we're gonna have our cap band just like this, right? We're gonna take another band, and if I can get the camera angle here, we're gonna pass, we're just gonna put the band on the hook, right? And we're gonna tug it just a tiny bit. Tug it enough that you can actually feel some tension, right? If we have it too loose and we start passing it through the cap band, we're gonna lose it. So just tug on it a little bit, right? So there's some tension. So you're not gonna lose the band. Make sure you're tugging down, right? You don't wanna tug up because you'll also lose the band. Make sure you're tugging down. Now, the way I hold my hook, I try to hold it closer to the actual hook itself instead of back here, because it gives me more control. So I'm essentially, from here, I'm going to take my middle finger, like I'm flipping you off. No, I'm going to take my middle finger, and I'm going to get a better angle here. I'm going to just grace the cap band here, where I can move it, right? With my finger, I can move it. I'm going to slowly, while holding the tension, I'm going to move my hook down, and I'm going to pass it through the cap band. I'm going to twist it back up, push it back a little bit, the other band, and I'm going to put it right on. And you'll notice that this is the start of a single chain bracelet. Here's our cap band down here. As you can see, it's holding everything it's holding everything together. That's what we want to see, right? This is the beginning to a single chain bracelet. I can continue by adding more bands on by following the same procedure. We're gonna apply some pressure, not a crazy amount, but just some pressure. I'm gonna use my middle finger here to slide the bands while I maneuver this band in. I'm gonna push it back a little bit so I have some room. I'm gonna take the band, I'm gonna put it over the hook. There's our first chain, if you'll focus. That's our first chain, that's our second chain. We're gonna keep repeating this process over and over and over until we have our single chain bracelet. So I'll be right back as I continue and grow this bracelet a little larger. And I'm just gonna, for the last time, I'm going to hold some pressure here. Use my middle finger to slide these two bands, put the hook through, push it back a little bit, and then put the band over the hook. Perfect. You're just going to continue that until the bracelet's larger. With you. Okay, this obviously isn't the length of a bracelet that any human would be comfortable wearing, but I'm going to cap it here. I'm going to show you how to make a slip knot, right? So a slip knot just prevents the bracelet from falling apart, and it helps with, if you want to stop working on a project and come back to it later, you can just slip knot it. So how I'm going to do the slip knot is I'm going to take the hook. I'm going to let's focus. There we go. I'm gonna pass the hook down and under the second loop like that, and then I'm just gonna tug on it. There you go. Now the bracelet's not gonna fall apart. It's essentially acting like a cap band. And of course I can continue this, I can keep growing this later just by undoing the slip knot and putting it back on my hook. That is the single chain bracelet. I should also point out that there are extremely simpler ways of doing that same bracelet. Just to make sure that nobody's getting mad at me in the comments for wanting to use a crochet hook. There are extremely simple ways to do this bracelet that don't even require a loom or a crochet hook. All you need are 2 fingers. You can just take the band, we're going to twist it. It's going to act as our cap band like before. Take our second band, put it on top, and moving the bands up like this. Right, and you would continue that process over and over and over and over and over until you have your bracelet. So that's another way of doing it. It's probably the simplest way to do it. There's one more bracelet I want to show you how to make. This one is a little more complicated, especially on a crochet hook. I would recommend trying to learn it on the crochet hook, as it'll get you more comfortable with using a crochet hook. So let's focus the camera here. This is called a fishtail. It's actually the same pattern that I have on this Starburst bracelet. It's kind of like a single chain, but it's more woven. So we're gonna take a rubber band, and just like before, we're gonna make it a cap band by twisting it. I'm gonna have it on our fingers right here. And then instead of using just one band here, we're gonna use 2. So 1, and make sure you keep some distance here between each band so you don't get confused. We're gonna do 1 and 2, just like this. We're gonna take the very bottom band and slide it up So we have something like this. Perfect. We're gonna slide the bands down, especially if you have fat fingers like me. I'm just gonna be very careful in how I move the bands. I'm gonna take another band and put it on top. And it's the same exact thing we did before. We're gonna take the bottom band and we're gonna move it on top. And you're gonna continue this process over and over and over until you have the length that you want for the bracelet. So I'm gonna continue adding some bands on here and looping over the bottom, always the bottom. Grab another band. Over and over and over again. What you'll notice is that this is starting to form, if you'll focus, this is starting to form a fishtail. So you just repeat this process over and over and over until you have your fishtail. Then of course you can clip it with a C-clip. So I tried the crochet method and it looks like I messed it up a little bit. So I'm gonna have to research that again. So I would stick for fishtails with the finger method, just be passing it on. There are actually a couple of good tutorials online that I will post down below for doing the fishtail with a crochet hook, because clearly I can't do it right now. But those are the two first bracelets to learn that I would say to learn. If you're just starting out with Rainbow Loom and have no experience with it, the single chain, right, and the fishtail using your two fingers. You can use your two fingers for both of them. They're extremely easy bracelets. And that looks like that's it. That's all I have for you right now. This is a great way to start out with Rainbow Loom. And obviously there are a bunch of tutorials online for making other bracelets like the Starburst or the Hexafish. I've only found one tutorial online for making a literal glove. However, his method uses looms. This method, I literally only used crochet hook for this entire thing. I never used a loom. So I would definitely consider this advanced Rainbow Loom, and I would catalog it as such. So if I make a video about advanced Rainbow Loom, I will definitely be including the stitch pattern and essentially how to make this glove in a future video. But that's all I have for you today. Have fun. Most importantly, looming is an art and it's just there to have fun. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment them down below. I don't know if anybody still looms in 2023, but if they do and they decide to pick up a set of Rainbow Loom, like a kit, I hope this video helped you. I hope it was clear and it made sense. I'll be sure to answer all your questions down below. Feel free to like or dislike, feel free to subscribe, and just have a good rest of your day/night.